Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman, and in this lesson, we'll be starting the second movement of Sonatina in G by someone who may or may not, probably not be Beethoven. Let's check out the score to get started. Here's the score for the second movement of Sonatina in G. Let's check out the essential things to always check before we learn a new piece. Our tempo indication says Romanze. Romanze is a German word that means it's going to have a romantic, lilting, delightful feel. Our clefs tell us treble and bass. That's what we would expect. And let's check out our key signature. It's very common in the second movement to not use the original key. We were in the key of G before, G major, in the first movement. So the second movement may or may not be in G major. In fact, very often it is not. But looking at the key signature, what does this tell us? One sharp could be the key of G major or E minor. So how would we tell? Well, sometimes the first note is a clue. Well, it's a B. Stepping up, it's not quite definitive. So often an even better clue is to look at the first and last chord that we play. So let's look at this chord here. And let's look at the last chord here. Can you analyze this chord for me? What notes do you see? We've got a G, a B, and a D. What triad does that make? That's a G major triad. Let's also check the last chord. What do you see? We've got a ground G, up a fifth, and then in the right hand we've got a B and another G. Well, we can take that B and place it down here. If we put all those chords, notes together, also a G major triad. Well, ending and beginning in G major tells us we are once again in the key of G major. Now let's check out the time signature. 6/8 means what? 6/8 simply means there'll be 6 eighth note beats per measure. Now here in the first measure, do we have a complete measure? If you said no, great job. 1, 2, 3 eighth notes is not a complete measure, which we call a pickup measure or pickup notes. These notes right here come before the first downbeat. After every bar line is always beat 1. So we know this is 1, so counting backwards, we know this is beat 6, this is beat 5. So this song happens to start, or this piece I should say, or movement, starts on beat 4. 4, 5, 6, 1. And quarter notes will get 2 beats, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't forget, grace notes don't take up any official amount of time in the measure. It's played so quickly, it's as if it doesn't take up any part of a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So don't forget, as we're learning this, every time you have a quarter note, because we're in 6/8, you'll feel 2 beats on each quarter note. Let's try tapping the rhythm of this first phrase. Remember, these long curved lines can be called phrase marks. And we'll tap the rhythm while we count these beats. I'll count 1, 2, 3, and then we'll start on 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Now, when you first learn a piece in 6/8, it's helpful to think of every eighth note as its own beat. But remember that in 6/8, we think of the eighth notes in groups of 3. So as you get to play this faster, eventually you'll only feel a beat here and here, 2 beats per measure, 1 and 2 and. And that's the more fast, subdivided way of counting. You actually start to feel 6/8 as 2 beats per measure. Here's 1 beat, a group of 3/8 notes, and here's another group of 3/8 notes as a beat. 1 and 2 and. But again, when we're first learning it, counting all 6 beats works just great. All right, let's check out this first phrase. We get 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Especially watch out for that grace note. Let's practice that right there. Place your right hand in the G major pentascale, and let's start right there on the grace note. Now you try. Try it one more time. Go. Now let's put that together with the notes that come before it. Pause the video and practice that first phrase until you feel confident, then press play to go on. Now let's look at the next phrase, starting here on beat 4. Notice it starts off the same, so these we could call parallel phrases, right? Then we switch to a finger 3 here, another grace note, and then finger 1 has to come under to prepare us for the next part. Now pause the video and work on that phrase. Be careful, especially of the fingering and the grace note, then press play to go on. Let's put those two parallel phrases together. Now, I'd like you to try to figure out the next phrase on your own, starting here in measure 4, and I'm going to stop there. See if you can learn it all the way up to this first ending here, the first note of the first ending in measure 8. Pause the video and try using what you know about reading notes. Watch the fingerings, watch the rhythms, watch the notes. Try and learn this section on your own, then press play and we'll check it out together. Okay, here's what it should have sounded like. Now, if that matches what you played, great job. If you heard something that sounded a little different from what you played, then pause the video and work that out, and then you can continue when you're ready. Now, you'll notice we have a first ending which we're allowed to go into the first time, and then what happens? We repeat back and we play this section again. Rest. Then what happens this time? We have to go straight to the second ending. Remember, you're only allowed to go in the first ending the first time. The second time you teleport directly to the second ending, and now we get a new section that begins with this grace note. Some staccati. And I'm going to stop there. Now, on your own, can you figure out these notes starting with this grace note? Notice it's marked a finger 4 on A, and then finger 1 comes under to that G, which prepares you to go up this scale. Pause the video and practice measures 9 through 13, and then press play to go on. Now we stopped right here in the middle of measure 13, and starting on beat 4, we get these 3 staccati with your finger 5. And remember to keep it really loose with a nice light wrist right there. When I play staccati, I like to think of an up motion because that keeps me from like hammering it and making it really ugly. So think of kind of plucking the sound up out of the key. And that will give it a nice light and happy sound. Finger 2 comes over. Now pause the video and work on that section from the middle of measure 13 on those 3 D staccati all the way to the start of measure 17. Then press play to go on. Now, here's a really fun part. We get a really dramatic moment, and I'm going to add in the left hand. Fermata, so you can hold that extra long. And then it goes back to the A section. I think that's really fun and dramatic right there, right? So we've got, and we'll work on the left hand in another lesson, but I just want you to notice this fermata here, and then it's going to diminuendo, which remember means get quieter and quieter, up to the end of that phrase. And I want it to feel like you're leaving the audience in suspense right there. We've had this big dramatic moment, and then the notes kind of just start to fade. What's gonna happen? Oh, it goes back to the start. You can leave your audience in a lot of suspense right there and have some fun with that fermata and then that diminuendo to make us wonder what's gonna happen. So try and play up that moment and have fun with it. Now, one last thing to notice about this section are these rests, rest, and then the fermata. Okay, pause the video to work on that section and then press play to go on. Now, you'll notice from there, we go back to the A section. Now, what happens here? Ooh, something new, but it's towards the end, so we usually would call that a coda. Here comes the coda for the second movement. It gets soft. Now, isn't this interesting? It's a double grace note. You notice it doesn't have the slash. That's because it's two very small baby 16th notes. When notes are written small size like this, that means they're grace notes, and they're not played in rhythm. They just happen so quickly, it doesn't take up any official part of the beat, like we were saying before. So you just kind of have to roll through those notes. I like to turn my wrist a little bit, again, like I'm turning the knob of a door. Try that. You're just playing A, B, C, but all in one motion, like you're turning the knob of a door. Try that a few times. Try to make it sound crisp and light and happy sounding. And notice this interesting rhythm. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've got that dotted eighth, 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum. Is a little bit faster. Now, listen one more time. Pause the video and work on this in slow motion. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 1. Practice that phrase, then press play to go on. Now a little faster, we get 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Okay, you'll work on that on your own. And now let's look at this next phrase. We have another grace note. Pause the video to work on that phrase, then press play to go on. All right, and now we have this phrase again, but this time it's mezzo forte, and the rhythm's slightly different. Instead of the dotted eighth 16th that we saw in measure 31, now we have straight eighth notes in measure 35. We jump up the octave for this very lilting, fun ending. Nice strong chords at the end. Let's listen to that with the left hand. Pause the video and work on the coda on your own, just right hand alone. to the end and then press play to go on. Once you feel like you have the notes down, it's time to start practicing with the metronome. I recommend you start 1 note per click, and each click will equal an 8th note beat. So I've set my metronome to 128. That might be a good place to start. Remember, with the 8th note equaling 1 click, every quarter note you play will get 2 clicks. Once you master that speed with no pauses and no missed notes, you can gradually speed it up until it's more like, here's 184. And eventually you want to make it to about 83 notes per click. So now you're thinking 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. But it will take you some time to get there. So start slow at first, gradually increase the speed when you feel confident. Great work learning the right hand part for the second movement of Sonatina in G. Thanks for watching and learning with me, and happy practicing. Pwee, Sharky, pwee! Do I have to wear this old bonnet? Yes! But I feel so ridiculous. Drink! Blah. Tastes like warm leaf juice. Hate to break it to you, but that's exactly what tea is. By the way, cute bonnet. Scuba, you have to save me. I'm trapped in this tea party. You have to get me out of here. Oh, I think it's cute that you're getting in touch with your inner child, your more delicate side. I don't have a delicate side. Come on, you don't want to do a chase together, do you? You know, for old time's sake. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm actually really enjoying our new relationship based on trust and mutual respect. You're so cute with that. Scuba play too. Sure, give me some of that leaf juice. Can we at least have some hot chocolate? No! Somebody help me.